Before we get to the movie, I want to talk about something that you said earlier this year in reference to the Rolling Thunder review.
Mm-hmm.
You said we should be able to trust our documentaries. I'm really annoyed by documentaries that pass themselves off as fact and they're fake. There's a documentary called Catfish about catfishing, and there's some doubt whether or not it's totally true.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw this documentary about the amazing Jonathan. You remember this guy?
He was a magician?
He was a comedy magician from the 80s. He did lots of cocaine. He would joke in his act about how much cocaine he did. He wants to make a comeback. And so we start to find out the crazy details of his life. He smokes crystal meth medicinally. It comes out that he's got this documentary crew filming him, and then he's got another documentary crew making a different documentary about him. Eventually it comes out there's 4 or 5 different crews. And the guy making this movie goes to him and says, are you messing with me? Is this all a joke? And then I thought, wait a minute. Are you messing with me? And is this all a joke? And I was out.
Oh.
I was like, I can't trust this movie anymore. I'm out. I just don't like to be fooled, man.
Mm-hmm. Have I shown you my finger? Oh, it hurts so much to show you this.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to The Basement. Thank you for joining us here in The Basement for our end-of-the-year mega-sode. And we're going to celebrate the show that we've done this past year, our 9th season. We had a great time doing it, despite some hurdles and difficulties, but we soldiered on. And so without further ado, the year in review.
Glad to see you again.
Greetings, Honky.
Angel, that's why.
I don't have time for this shit yet.
I haven't got time for this shit.
Almost car broke down last night, a million miles from nowhere.
We were orbiting Pluto.
I will see you soon.
Big baboon. I wonder if Tony Curtis is going to be in a dress in this one.
I hope so. Defiance! Now kiss me, you fool!
Mildred.
Mildred? More like kill, dead.
I didn't know what to do next, but suddenly it hit me.
A truck. I think this movie will be a horrifying sequence of events.
Nice. Come on, guys. Take only memories, leave only stiletto heel footprints.
I wish I was dark-skinned.
Our souls are black.
I think this is the part of England where every sperm is sacred.
A little poof and a pair of reserves.
See, she's closing the curtains. This is that modesty she's so famous for.
Modesty, please.
Modesty bathes.
You're going to call the New York Times and tell them that a group of respectable businessmen stole some talking dolphins from you?
That would be more appropriate for the New Yorker.
Are you sleeping?
Even the people's heads are pointed.
The Ramones song Pinhead is much reviled in this village. Now you're a dumpster turkey. Chicken.
Who are you? Where am I? What's going on?
This is exactly how Mel Gibson wakes up every day.
The entities could.
Says you'd work together more often. They'll crack this code together.
Yeah. Maybe the zero theorem has been the 2 theorem the entire time.
The brunette's her friend, Dorothy Shore. Never mind about her. We don't care what she does.
We prefer the blonde. In 1928, the term soda jerk had recently replaced soda rat bastard. I can't wait for the scene where the crow meets his ultimate nemesis, Scarecrow.
Bad crow, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you?
What have you got to worry about? We're only adrift in an open sea with a drunken captain and engine that's liable to explode at any moment.
You know, a John Huston movie.
Your books can attack me, old man.
Well, your hardcover books can. If you have an OED, I'm toast. Black Sabbath.
Ma allora voi siete ferito al cuore.
Wound is in the heart. Wound is in the heart. Bust a move.
She's a nun.
And the house doesn't like her.
The house will have none of her.
Josh is sad because his dad just died. I bet all those kids have fathers who are alive pilots. Hey, it's a Polar espresso machine.
Who gets the first gift at Christmas?
Not you, dweeb miser.
Hello, Gaslight, my old friend.
Mrs. Thwarth.
My name is Thwaites.
Mrs. Thwaite.
Mrs. Thwaite.
Miss Thwaites.
So we've watched about 24 movies this year, and now we're going to talk about our favorites and our least favorites.
The silent film Speedy. I just think it's entertaining from beginning to end. I love hanging out with Harold Lloyd. And you get all of those great shots of old New York town.
You listen up, pipes. Stop being noisy.
How about these pipes?
How about these pipes? Ah!
Mmm.
My favorite movie of the year was Hairspray.
Excellent.
It works as several different films. It's a dance movie, it's a satire, it's a social commentary movie, and it's a kooky John Waters film. It does all four of those things equally well.
And it's got such a wonderful, wonderful soundtrack. And how about least favorite movie of the year?
I'm going to go ahead and call it the worst movie of the year.
Okay.
And that is The Polar Express.
Really?
Absolutely dreadful. It attempts so much and achieves none of it. And it costs so much to make, $165 million, and it gave us practically nothing. It's like a figure skater, and every time they do something, they fall down. You know, it doesn't matter how complex their routine is if they can't execute it. They give us characters that are unpleasant to look at, not interesting dialogue, awful songs, a lack of a feeling of Christmas, really.
That's an interesting choice. For my least favorite, I was thinking Air Bud. I had low expectations for it, and it actually surpassed them.
Well, Air Bud is an example of a figure skater with an incredibly simple routine that aces it. You can't really call that a bad movie for what it is. You can call it a bad movie for how you react to it.
But I think it's worse when you have a director that you admire so highly, and he gives you so little. So I am going to say Terry Gilliam's Zero Theorem.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Beat the Devil, because that was on my short list as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. And on my second viewing, I found it very charming. Third viewing, I'm going to like it more. But I hope that there is never a second viewing of Zero Theorem for me, because it was just too long as it was, and I don't think it even hit 2 hours.
Well, we've had a year to reflect on some of these movies, and now maybe we have some further observations to make about them with the benefit of distance.
I have been thinking all day about how I wanted to talk about Dorothy Malone in Beach Party, and then I realized that was from like 2 years ago. So, sorry, Dorothy Malone, but I now know that you were in The Big Sleep too.
I think one of our big moments of surprise this year was watching the ending of Disco Godfather.
Yes.
Take your hands off of me!
Abrupt, to say the least. But I think it might actually have been the perfect ending. Because we didn't need any more. Do we really want to watch Tucker's recovery in the PCP ward? Now that I say it, I kind of want to watch it.
The best scene of the year might indeed be the end of Disco Godfather. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's either that or the end of Black Sabbath.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is nearly my favorite of the year.
I believe last year we talked about the concept of the MacGuffin. And about how I have a tough time wrapping my brain around it.
Yes.
I'm still not sure it has stuck. Is the gas tank in The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert a MacGuffin? It starts out with, you need to replace your gas tank. They never do, and then at the end of the movie, Bob says, that should be fine.
That is not a MacGuffin.
God damn it. Why can I not figure this out?
I'll give you a living MacGuffin, okay? Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
Seems like she's the lead of the movie, but once she's out, it's a movie about the prince and about the three fairies having to save Sleeping Beauty. She just becomes a prop after that. And Maleficent trying to keep Sleeping Beauty. She is what is wanted. The Maltese Falcon...
Yeah, you keep telling me that, but the gas tank is what is wanted, and it ends up being not important.
No, what they're going for is the show in Alice Springs.
I don't think I'll ever get it, folks. I'm an intelligent person, I swear.
It's weird that the things that we can't get, even when it's laid out for us. You know, I don't get magnets. I have a friend and a fan of the show who says that she can't understand what the term meta means. Which is something that whenever I see something meta, I'm like, ding, ding, ding. It's like I see the world through meta glasses.
I don't understand the concept of postmodernism.
Amityville Horror.
One thing that we didn't notice at the time that I noticed going back through, or maybe you did notice and you didn't say anything, but the little girl... I want Harry! She's totally under the sway of Jodie. Because when we see her in subsequent shots, she's sitting there and she's got this little smile on her face. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's never explicitly shown. It's a really subtle, nice thing.
Which is good because Jodie just kind of disappears from the ending of the movie.
Yeah. One gift that the Amityville Horror has given me, it's this. That's just as funny as the woman who gets shot in Logan's Run. In an incredibly flawed story, probably the biggest flaw and one that we didn't really pick up on at the time. Why does the Foundation want to kill the president? There's no motivation whatsoever. No one ever talks about it. We should get some insight into the inner workings of the Foundation.
Yeah.
See them having a meeting where they're talking about this.
It almost seems as though they want to see if they can pull off an assassination using a dolphin, and they're like, I don't know, the president's coming around, as opposed to being like the mayor of Miami.
Yeah, work your way up to the president. Chicken Run. Its greatest flaw might be its greatest strength. We know that this is a world where chickens talk to each other, chickens use tools, chickens communicate with rats, they have their own society, all this stuff. But it's still a world where the humans don't know this. And the humans see the chickens as chickens. Now, at the end of the movie, Mrs. Tweedy is hanging off of a chicken-built plane. There's a chicken, clearly with hands, who is using tools and thinking and having a plan. This doesn't faze her at all.
Yeah.
She just wants to kill that chicken. The woman's mind should be melted. But the thing about it is that you, the audience, don't care. And probably on first viewing, don't even notice.
Yeah.
Your gift today, I have a final gift for you. It has nothing to do with the movie, so I'm going to give it to you right now. And it's just something that I know that you like. There you go. Happy 2020.
Oh, those I do like. Mandums. Mandums.
No peanuts.
Oh, thank you.
I want you to take those home. You hide them. Do not share them with your wife. Don't share them with your kids. Those are all for you.
Oh.
It's not an episode of Welcome to the Basement if we don't go over to the old leather couch and watch something. But I want to switch things up a little bit. I want to do the Hall of Fame first.
Oh, okay.
First of all, into our Hall of Fame, she caused terror in Something Wicked This Way Comes. She faced the terror of Blackula, and apparently she also showed up for a hot second in Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. It's Pam Grier!
Jackie Brown, Foxy Brown, Pam Grier.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
One of the great comic writers of the 20th century. She was not very funny when she wrote The Corner of Wheat, but she was when she said that gentlemen preferred blondes. It is Anita Luce.
The recently deceased Buck Henry appeared as an actor and writer in Catch-22 and as a writer in Day of the Dolphin. Despite the second part of that, he's going to go into our Hall of Fame because of his illustrious career. Okay.
With a career spanning over half a century and spanning at least 2 continents, Marcel Dalio was one of the biggest stars in France in the 1930s before he came over to the United States to become one of our most prized character actors. He was the judge in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and he was the older man in Catch-22, Marcel Dalio. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Our next Hall of Famer appeared twice this year. He was Bernadette in The Adventures of Priscilla, and he was Willie Garvin in Modesty Blaise. He is Terrence Stamp, and now he is in the Hall of Fame.
Kneel before Terrence Stamp, Superman. If you only watched the first 8 seasons of our show, you'd think that Joseph Cotten was an old man. That's what he was in Airport 77.
Come on, keep it together.
That's what he was in Airport 77 in Soylent Green. But he came back this year in Gaslight, and look, he's not an old man. He's charming, he's debonair.
He may not be the fabric of our lives, but he is Joseph Cotten. Congratulations to the new Hall of Fame members.
All 6 of yes.
It's time for us to go watch something, and tonight we continue our salute to the legends of the silent era. Around this time a year ago, we watched some of the films of D.W. Griffith. Earlier this year, we watched Your Beloved Speedy with Harold Lloyd, and tonight we pay tribute to another silent film star, Douglas Fairbanks. He is most known for his swashbuckling adventures, as was his son, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., but early in his career, he did comedies, such as the one you're about to see, the Sherlock Holmes spoof, The Mystery of the Leaping Fish.
I wish I could tell you that I've spent years waiting to see this one. And so I will. I've spent years waiting to see this one.
Liar.
I am lying. But I'm looking forward to it anyway. Who doesn't like leaping fish?
Released in 1916, TMOTLF stars Douglas Fairbanks, Alma Rubens, and Bessie Love, who is credited as the Little Fish Blower. It was directed by John Emerson, written by Todd Browning, of Dracula and Freaks fame, with intertitles by newly inducted Hall of Famer Anita Luce.
Hey, that's wonderful.
If you want pre-code movies, you got it, and if you thought The Cocaine Fiends had a lot of cocaine in it, you better buckle your seatbelts for The Leaping Fish. Fairbanks' biographer Jeffrey Vance describes The Mystery of the Leaping Fish as undoubtedly the most bizarre film Fairbanks made. A hallucinogenic odyssey into the absurd.
I want to leap right into this fish, solve this mystery, crack this crime.
Well, then let's swim on over and flop up onto the old leather couch for the silent film classic, The Mystery of the Leaping Fish. The person who wrote this never heard of salmon. The Mystery of the Leaping Fish begins at the home of Coke Anyday. He is a scientific detective.
Did I have some cocaine? Is it daytime? Is it just any day?
When he's feeling a little sleepy, he pokes himself with the old cocaine needle, and that wakes him right up. Oh, now I feel like the bee's knees.
And if he forgets, there's a weird clock on the wall that tells him when he's supposed to do that. Who's this guy? This guy's out of a Terry Gilliam movie right there.
Coke any 90 seconds.
The chief of the Secret Service comes by.
Go ahead and let the cop in. Can't arrest me. I'm not doing anything illegal.
You gotta find this guy for me. And he is a man of wealth and taste, or at least wealth, because if you check out his bedroom, he's got some money.
Scrooge McHuman. Great Depression has not happened yet. No. Never mind. Coke gets dressed up in his fanciest attire. He gets into his kooky car, and he drives down to the beach where the leaping fish are. They're these rafts that you rent for 25 cents an hour, and they're all sorts of fun.
And there's a little lady down there who inflates the rafts for you. She is the fish blower.
Nowadays, fish blowing is done by computers. But back then, there was a little lady who did it. She's in trouble.
Give me that girl in marriage within the week or I will spill the beans. What? What does any of this mean? Gonna delegate my authority. I'm not gonna tell her. You have to tell her because you work for me. Go tell her she's gotta marry a guy. Now, Fishy Joe is a smuggler of drugs.
Not the good drugs, cocaine, which our heroes use. Opium, the bad drugs.
Which our hero uses.
Later on.
Yeah, later on.
Once
he gets his hands on him.
Coke is excited through various means. This lady, the fish blower, falls in the water. He jumps in to rescue her. This man will drown you, lady. Yeah, she's just standing in the water. She's just standing there splashing.
He, I guess, rescues her from this 2.5 feet of water, and they jump right out of the water, just like that.
Hey, this sidewalk's for regular walking, not fancy walking.
See?
He gets one of those leaping fish, he goes out in the water, and he plays around with it, and it's fun. What?
Is this the middle of the picture?
Find the fish!
Yes!
This is just a bunch of hoo-ha. And horseplay. And skylarking around. So the leaping fish are being filled with opium. The fish blower girl is kidnapped by the bad guys and taken away. I gotta go rescue her. How will I do that? Look what I've found.
Opium.
He slathers that all over his hungry mouth, and it makes him higher than he's ever been.
I'll save you. He's, jiggling about, hipping in and hopping in.
Did he shit himself? I see a stain on the back of his jacket. I think he had an accident.
Meanwhile, the fish girl is in the back of the truck, and she says, "Oh, opium." And what does she do? She doesn't use it.
She writes a note.
Coke, any day, gives chase, and he finds the note. Help! They're going to a laundry in Chinatown.
He goes into the bad guy's lair. He's bouncing around. That is totally a shit stain on the back of his jacket. That has to be what it is. He's got a strange pants stain. I've spoken of that already. I won't speak of it again.
The fish girl is getting into fisticuffs with some guy in the back room.
I presume it's Fishy Joe.
No, I think he's just some Chinese flunky.
Well, why wouldn't it be Fishy Joe?
Because isn't Fishy Joe the guy the rich guy who shows up at the
Fishy Joe be a more important part of the story?
I don't know.
Coke is squaring off against this guy, and he says, hey, how about we fight in the dark? When the lights come back on, that guy has been manhandled beyond all recognition. Coke is a monster when it comes to fighting and narcotics use.
The cops are called, but they get lost because they drive around in a circle.
Ooh, Matthey's Red Ribbon beer. Boy, Pabst really wiped the floor with them. The smuggled drugs are recovered. The woman is rescued. But if you think that's the end of the story, think again. Oh, come on. Please say it is. No, we don't need any more. We find ourselves in the offices of the film studio that made this movie. Meta. Show this to your friend.
The Opium MacGuffin.
Because he wrote this crappy movie that we, the movie-going public, just paid money to watch.
But he didn't write the movie. The movie just says he wrote the movie.
And that is the mystery of the leaping fish.
Now, Anita Luce did not write this.
She wrote the words.
The title cards.
Yes.
Good.
So
she can stay in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. It's a good thing that Douglas Fairbanks moved away from comedy. Not really his gift.
It really felt like we were back in high school and there's the jock. And all of his friends say that he's funny. But he's not funny. He's popular.
He's in the locker room and he's like, hey, I'm on cocaine. And everyone just laughs because he's popular, as you say.
Yeah. It also felt like someone who had never seen anyone on drugs thinking what drugs were like. Oh, stoners are all like, hey, man, I like drugs.
The description that the biographer gave it is inaccurate. It wasn't hallucinogenic. It wasn't really absurd. It was just a lot of just jumping around and running around.
Yeah.
And people just like waving their arms and no story.
Yeah, it's so hard to wrap your head around how they think this is a plot.
But I will say, the very ending almost redeems the film. It's really ahead of its time, certainly. And also it's basically saying, we know that this movie you watched is really bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was filmed a few weeks later. And it's like, all right, everyone, come in. We're going to salvage this.
Right.
The only way we know how.
And the movie does use reverse photography to good comic effect.
Oh, Coke any day. Why didn't he become as popular as Sherlock Holmes?
Think of the stories that could have been written about Coke any day. A Study in White. It's time to leap away from the mystery of the leaping fish. And normally we would go to scene it, but we've got some business to take care of first. We need to induct our non-human Hall of Fame member.
I have no idea what this is. I always know about the human ones, but I'd never know about this one.
Well, our inductee this year may not be human, but they are certainly a friend to humans. Some might even say their best friend. That's right, going into the Hall of Fame, it's dogs.
Dogs!
When you wish upon a dog.
Take it.
I wish you were a dog. If diamonds are a girl's best friend, and dog is man's best friend, then David Bowie's Diamond Dogs
is mankind's best friend.
Everybody's a winner. The dog is there, and he has a clue. A pants swatch that was bitten off of the ass of a bad man.
Did I see that?
Bob used to have a dog, but the dog left him.
She left me a few months back.
If your dog runs away, you don't typically say, she left me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you keep those dogs on leash.
And if they make a mess, you gotta pick it up with a little baggie.
And they get a 15-minute union break every 2 hours.
You have to go, buddy.
Speedy's enjoying his new suit, but everyone keeps messing it up, like dog's paws. If this wasn't a movie, if it was just 1928, he would then just beat the dog to death with a stick. The dog is howling. He says, "Kill that dog. Just give the dog some sausages, and it'll be quiet." Where's my sausages?
Ain't no rules that the dog can't play basketball.
Yes!
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You are, because you're in our Hall of Fame. Before we continue, Tona has a little something she would like to say to you.
Oh.
Matt, actually, can I sit where
Yep.
you're sitting? I'm so excited about this, so I wanted to do it myself. This is a gift from our family to yours.
Oh, it's a whole bunch of light.
So this is something that I made, and I wanted you and Christina and Lorenzo and Santino to have it.
Oh, we're about to hang up our Christmas stuff tomorrow. I think this will look wonderful with it.
If you look very closely, there is a dragon in that.
Oh. And Matt's back.
Fran Newhouse writes, "Have you seen The Gift from the year 2000? P.S. I'm not actually real. This is just Matt picking movies that he wants to talk about. Ha ha, just kidding. I'm Fran Newhouse, I'm hilarious, and I'm real. Seen it."
Billy Bob Thornton did write and direct this movie.
Okay.
It's about a psychic woman who's solving a mystery, and his mother, Billy Bob Thornton's mother, was a psychic. So Thornton clearly takes this very seriously.
It's a pretty good thriller. Keanu Reeves plays a villain in this. He spends every waking second harassing and threatening Cate Blanchett. The guy's got no job, he's got no hobbies. He's just got one thing to do. Now here's the weird thing. Giovanni Ribisi plays a young, mentally challenged man who it turns out is being abused by his stepfather. Obviously, he's a great actor.
Yeah?
His character's name is Buddy Cole.
Buddy Cole. I know that name.
I know you know that name because anyone who watched The Kids in the Hall in the 90s, Buddy Cole is a flamboyant gay character by Scott Thompson. And in the year 2000, people would have been even more aware of that. And I wondered to myself, why that name? If it calls up that association. You know, every time someone called him Buddy Cole, all I could think of was, I gotta tell my breath for a second. Didn't someone at some point in the entire production point this out, and that you could have called him Bobby Cole or Buddy Colton? Any other name? Stephen King wrote a book called The Wind Through the Keyhole. There's a story where a young boy is trapped in a swamp. Do you know what the name of the swamp is? The Fagonard Swamp. Why that name? Why call it that?
Ryan writes, Black Narcissus, a darkly grand film that won Oscars for Alfred Younga's art direction and Jack Cardiff's cinematography. Seen it. This is not the Black Narcissus, which was just made into a miniseries. It's the original movie.
Powell and Pressburger?
That's right.
I watched this about 15 years ago on a crappy little TV, and I didn't like it for that simple reason. I watched it again last night on my nice TV, and it's a lot better because this movie is all about the visuals. The visuals are the story. You can almost not pay attention to the story because the story's kind of dull.
Powell and Pressburger made visually the best movies ever. They weren't good storytellers. Of the movies of them that I've seen, this is probably my favorite. It's the one that I was most shocked and amazed by.
Yeah.
I do find the concept of a nun going insane and getting more sexual as she's going insane very interesting because I grew up Catholic.
QD Hazen, on the subject of French comedies, I have 4 words for you. La Cage aux Folles. Seen it?
No.
It's hard to talk about La Cage aux Folles without just talking about the Birdcage.
Which I've seen.
Because La Cage aux Folles is a movie that should have been definitely remade and should continue to be remade because it's a timeless story. And The Birdcage is such a superior movie to it. La Cage aux Folles is dated in many ways. There's a couple of really kind of tasteless domestic violence jokes in it that don't age well. It's really a story that speaks to any generation, not just for gay culture and gay people relating to straight people and vice versa, but just simply young people in relationships with parents' issues.
Yeah.
I'm afraid your parents don't like me. I don't think I like your parents. I don't think our parents are going to like each other. You know, it's that basic thing which is universal to anyone who's ever been in a relationship.
We say a lot that movies are dated. And I say, of course they're dated. They're all dated. They're all made in the past. I'm not getting down to you for saying it because I say we all say it. But it is something that it is kind of like saying this movie's in color.
Yeah, but I would never call Casablanca dated. I would never call The Graduate dated. Dated it's dated in such a way that you notice it.
Mm-hmm.
And where it really seems old-fashioned or quaint.
Yeah.
For the final Seen It of the year, it is our tradition to take a beloved movie that is universally adored and talk about what we don't like about it. Take it away, Craig.
Bill Greenwood writes, I have never seen Die Hard before this year, but finally checked it out. Truly deserves all the praise it gets. Seen it.
Yippee-ki-yay, seen it.
I'd say it's dated.
I don't like the jump scare at the end. I think jump scares are pretty lame, and I realize that the 80s are the era of the jump scare, and I also realize that the jump scare serves a purpose in the arc of Reginald Val Johnson's character, but I still don't like it.
My big problem with the movie Die Hard, for a movie that's as well thought out as it is, the shot that they have for the title card at the beginning gives you no information about the movie. It looks like the Die Hard title card is for Die Hard 2, which takes place at an airport. It's a nothing shot. Okay. It's not a shot of the LA skyline. It's not a shot of
Nakatomi Plaza.
Nakatomi Plaza. It's not a shot of Bruce Willis entering the shot looking like someone who would die easily. It's just a minor quibble, but it's these things that get you in the mood for the movie.
It's no mystery why so many people are going to our website, welcome to thebasementshow.com, because you can see all of our episodes there, and there's also PayPal donation buttons where you can click on them to help donate to support this show, not to buy cocaine, not to smuggle opium, to support this show.
That's right.
People such as Rebecca, who says, Seen It, vibes. I recently caught this movie on streaming, and I was surprised how funny it was, considering I'd never heard of it. Cyndi Lauper is absolutely lovely in this film. I remember a movie from the 80s with Cyndi Lauper in it, and I'm pretty sure I saw it. Couldn't tell you one thing about it.
Cyndi Lauper and Jeff Goldblum. I think they go down to Latin America and get into trouble.
And is she a psychic?
I don't know. Possibly.
Vibes? Yeah, probably, yeah. To find out who the exciting rest of the viewers are and to see the exciting content in our mailbag.
And more exciting things.
You can watch Unboxing, which comes out this coming Friday. Look at all the mail.
Clearing things out for the season.
Well, we've come to the end of another year, season 9. We had a great time. We rose to the challenge of 2020, and we're glad that you stuck with us. It's always a pleasure to entertain you.
Stick around. Eventually, we'll have these masks off. It'll be like nothing happened.
We are going to be taking a short hiatus. Don't forget that in 7 days there will be an unboxing, so you get to watch that. And our season 10 premiere episode comes out February 5th.
Season 10.
During the break, please keep up with our Facebook page. We will be doing polls and questions and things like that during the hiatus.
We ask these questions of you so we can get questions for unboxing, for us to answer, so we can have Seen It suggestions, and also so that we can get to know you guys, our fans, a little bit better.
But you don't have to wait for Facebook posts to be able to do that. If you have a question right now, a comment, a Seen It suggestion, you can leave it in the comments of this video. We will get it right away. We, of course, want to thank the continued support of our donors and people who even donate during the hiatus. Work does continue during the hiatus. I pretty much don't get a vacation of any sort. So thank you for your donations and for your consideration. Happy New Year. I think 2021 is going to be great. I can feel it. We will see you after the hiatus. Have a great holiday. Have a great New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, you took no notes on this. All you have is Coke any day and smuggling opium.
That's right. I have a couple for the discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Are we rolling?